Maybe it's let me do it. Okay, I think we're up. I think we're okay. Maybe, I don't know. There's a bit of a delay on my side, so I'm trying to keep an eye on everything. And I have left my audio on so everyone can hear me over the countdown that I have on screen at the moment, but we're going to see how we go. So, and I've got a list of things to tell me what to do because I'm panicking already. No panicking. Okay, that doesn't work. G'day everyone, Zoe the Video Confidence Coach here with your weekly I Wanna Know live stream. So every Tuesday night from 6 to 7 Australian Eastern Standard Time, we'll be going live, hopefully. I'm going to making this a weekly thing for you guys. We're going live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitch, Facebook, and Instagram. So if you want to know where we're at, we're everywhere. But I'm hopefully streaming out to you right now. And if not, if I'm talking to you after the live stream, hashtag repost, restream. I forgot what I called it now. My brain. Hashtag repost squad. Anything that applies to you during this live stream, feel free to comment below as if you were live anyway. So hopefully, I think we're going live. I think we're doing it. It's not saying no. I think we're doing it. We'll see. So for the next couple of minutes, I'm just going to check because I am doing this for the first time. So you might have to bear with me during this time. Are we done with the sirens? Maybe not. So this is my first time going live and going on live on multiple systems as well. So if there's if anyone's done this before or has any tips for me, feel free to let me know because I will take anything I can get at this stage. Have I pressed the right button? I don't know. We'll find out. But if you want to skip past, if you're watching on the restream, a couple of 5 minutes until I have this all sorted, we will see. It's not saying no. Again. Am I going live or not? Tell me. Tell me with all your heart. Am I doing this right? I cannot tell if I'm doing this right because you're not telling me. Yeah, phooey. So we're going live in a few places, so we'll work with that. But essentially for the next hour, what will be happening is that I'll be going through a couple of things that I know from my end. Okay, I probably should have phrased that a little better. Probably. Maybe. It all sending data, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna believe that it's being right. So, g'day everyone, Zoe the Video Confidence Coach here. Hopefully everything is all good to go, and I just want to reintroduce myself after a little bit of hiccuping for that first couple of seconds, just to see how we go. But my name's Zoe, and we're going to be doing this weekly live stream of I Want to Know. Might change the title in the future, we'll see how we go. But we are going to be live on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, since I set that up. And we're also on Instagram. Hi, Instagram. So what we're going to be doing first is I'm going to be asking you guys to comment any of your questions, any of your theories, anything below. And what we'll also be doing is words. Live stream's going well. But I want you to comment with where are you watching from us today? Where are you watching or joining in the conversation today? Are you at home on the couch? Are you making dinner? Or are you waiting for a train home? Because even though it is 6, some people do catch trains that late. What are you doing at the moment while we're having this live conversation today? But what we'll also be doing today is going through any questions that you might have as well. So even though we have a strict loose quotes, if we do have a theme, if we do have a theme or a strict theme for a live stream, feel free to just go against it in any way. If you have any questions about video production, anything that you want to know, or anything, or any bubbling questions that you've had over a period of time, feel free to comment below. If you ever are wondering, I am looking to the right because I've got a little bit of a checklist just for me to remind myself what to do, which I highly recommend you guys when doing videos. Probably not live streams, but when you're doing videos, I highly recommend using the quick script, which is what I have here for the main bulk of our conversation. But when using the live stream, just getting up, getting me going, and getting me all sorted, because probably can talk forever if I really tried, but I want to be able to give you guys quality content for the period of time that we're going live for. And if you have any questions, it's all good to go. So yeah, all I can say is that if you're interested in these becoming a regular thing, make sure you invite people to watch the stream with you, tag anyone who's interested or who may be interested in learning some of this information, share on social media, all that good stuff. And also keep in mind that these restreams will be hosted on our YouTube channel, and also I believe on Facebook as well, but don't keep me to that. So after seeing how this goes, we'll also be sharing in a few groups as well. And I think that's pretty much it. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment. I'm going to do my best to make sure that I capture all the comments. It says it works, but I don't believe so. So I'm going to do my best just to make sure that keeping an eye on everyone. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, because you kind of, when it comes to live streaming, you have to kind of accept the process. You're doing your best to put it all together. And yeah, I want to chat. Let me chat, Facebook. Let me chat. Fine, don't let me chat. You don't have to do that. We'll make it work. Alright, so I'll do my best to keep an eye on any questions I have rolling in. And if I do miss any of your questions, I do apologize. Like I said, I am still working on how to make this work properly. If there's anything that I'm missing, we'll see how we go. But what we want to do today is, got my notes there, is what we're going to be working through today is, do you understand me? Do you understand me? Chill. We're going to be talking about being clear with your audience and talking directly to your audience. So there's a lot of people that I meet in workshops on the Video Confidence Crew Facebook group, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, who ask me questions about, they feel fine being in front of the camera. They feel fine of, setting up the camera and sitting in front of it and smiling and such. But when it comes to actually talking about a subject, talking about a message, or anything that has to do with structurally speaking to the camera, they feel like the world just kind of shifts from under them. Let's repeat that, Zoe. Shifts from under them, and they just feel like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I am. I'm confused. Or there is inherently of, I must keep talking. There must be no sense of pause. Which is incorrect, because very much like conversation, and very much when you're doing video, you want to have a conversation with your audience. Even though with live streams, they've got the ability to, comment, you've got the ability to leave shares, likes, anything like that. When you're doing a video straight to camera, there isn't inherently any feedback coming towards you. And as a human, that can be quite distressing, because when there's no feedback from something, usually means that they're dead. Not saying that your camera's dead, your camera's working fine, but our usual human response is to get feedback of any sort from what we're communicating with, be it human, be it animal, be it electrical. And if there's no feedback, then we feel like, okay, something's wrong. And hence why we have that initial fear of, okay, what am I supposed to do? Smile? But so when you're working with doing video, you want to have planned out what you said beforehand. Now, for a lot of people, they can get to the point where they can just speak off the cuff, where they can just say, all right, I want to aim for there and we're going to go for it. Or, when they said, oh, can we just do a quick video about such and such? And they just roll off the tongue straight away. And that's usually for people that are media trained, who have had plenty of practice, or for people that just have a knack for speaking on a certain subject, but keeping within the confines of that subject and not just going over here, then going over here, then going back over here, then going over there. Being able to keep that consistent is one thing that will be very helpful for you when you're editing your videos later. If you're doing it yourself, giving it to an editor, or finding somehow other way to edit it. I'm not entirely sure if there is another way, Zoe, but and also so it can be you, your editor, and also your audience as well, because when you're talking directly to your camera, even though you may take a couple attempts, you may fluff up some of your words like I have multiple times during the past 10 minutes, or if you feel like then something's not going wrong is the right term, but if you feel like you stuffed up so many times that I just can't do it. The same way as you began to ride a bike when you were young, or when you first learned to walk. Yes, you fell down so many times you landed straight on your face a fair few of them. Or in my case, I landed face first into some dog food and then proceeded to eat it because, I was 1 or 2. So, good times. But the idea being that you didn't stop, trying to learn to walk or trying to teach yourself to crawl or to walk because of those failures. And neither should, speaking to your audience directly through video, through podcasting, through any which way should stop you from doing so. So what I want to teach you guys today is a couple of tips that can help you get that focus, that mind, and that ability to actually help your audience and consistently help them achieve their goals, but mainly for you and yourself to be able to get that message in front of them and clearly get them to do one thing or the other. Call to action. I'll explain that later. But in the meantime, let's have some water. In the meantime, we're going to have a little break just to be hello to everyone who's joined the stream in the meantime. I just want to reintroduce myself. My name is Zoe. I'm the video confidence coach, and I teach people, and mainly small business people, but mainly people who want their message to be heard using video. And at the moment, we've got a few workshops coming up. I've got one workshop that has got only 2 spaces available left as part of the Geelong Small Business Festival 2019. Woohoo! GSBF 2019! Got so many promos for that. And that's Video Made Easy. You can check it out on Eventbrite and a few other places. There's only 2 spots, I believe 3 or 2 spots left available for people to book that in. And that's for the 22nd, which is not this Thursday, but the next Thursday. I have to think about it now. Yes, not this Thursday, but the next Thursday. So if you want to learn how to do video for yourself and are a bit concerned about how to get started, come to our workshop. I'll give you all the tools to get you started, and you can ask me any question you want. And also, while I've got you, and before we get back to the main content, I just want to talk about some new stuff that I've got recently. So when I say new stuff, what I used to give out during my workshops was a little holder that used to hold your mobile phone flat and used to screw into a tripod mount, and people could use it to hold their phones when recording. And I use them a lot in workshops. People thought they were brilliant. People really enjoyed them, and people would always ask me for more. And when ordering a second batch, because I went through about 100 in under a year, 300 in under a year, and unfortunately the supplier that I got them off is no longer supplying them anymore, and I couldn't really find any sort of dupes out there. So what I've done in the meantime is I've done this. So I've ordered a tripod and a mount for it. So I'll go through this. Yes, SMR. ASMR. All the kids are in it. Yeah. Totes bro. So what I've got for you. Oh no. Not a good thing. Can't show you an example with one of the legs popped off. Alright, legs back in. So what I've got for you guys, for the people that attend a workshop, and also my future workshops as well, except for the podcast specific ones, I've got another podcast one coming up with Dr. Jürgen Strauss of InnovaBiz on the 28th of August. That one's got a few more spaces, but not that many. So if you're interested in starting your own podcast and are in the Geelong region, feel free to check that out. Podcasting 101, A Profitable Marketing Strategy by Dr. Jürgen Strauss of InnovaBiz and Zoe, the Video Confidence Coach. And that will be on the 28th at the same location, Creative Geelong. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yes, I'm working on my winking. I need a bit of practice. All right, back to it. So what I've bought for you guys is that I've bought these and these, and these goes together. So this is a regular phone mount. So it can take any size phone. You can pull this little tab up the top, pull it open, and then you fit your phone right in. It's probably not big enough to accept any tablets, probably because it doesn't stretch that far, but it can stretch fairly far, and with a case as well. That was the only problem that I had with the other devices I was giving in previous workshops. You had to take your case, a bulky case, off just to put the phone on in the device, just because of how tight it was. It was secure, but it was trying to keep everything in. Now, yeah. So what we can do is attach that to this guy. So this guy is a tripod. For most of you guys would know what that is. It's a tripod that's got a few things to it. So it's got some flexible rubber squishy foam here that allows you to, and no, I haven't broken it. It's beautiful. So what it can do is you can attach this to a pole, a post, a bookshelf. It can stand up by itself. Let's use my hand for example. It can stand up by itself on a flat surface, or you can wrap it around something to keep that secure to something that's slightly higher than you, or what have you. And because you've got that little drill bit, tether, I think is the technical term. I should know, I am a professional. And this tether links to this, and all you need to do is screw it on once it gets there. And then you screw this on, and then all it does is that secures your phone. So, for example, can I use one? Yes, I can. For a second there, I was about to say that I can't show you an example, but then I realized, yes, I've got some dummy phones lying around that I can show you an example of. So, let's say, for example, using your phone, take your phone out, and then what you can do, and I'll do this backwards for your enjoyment and pleasure, is you do that. And then essentially what you've got is your phone connected to your tripod. You can connect a tripod to anything or have it standing on, say, a bookshelf or a table if it's high enough. Remember, you want your lens to be about your eye height or a little bit higher. And then once you're done, you can splay it out and do that. This guy's a little loose just because I got him just out of the packaging, but what you would do is you would tighten this up. And say, for example, when you're doing Instagram Lives, IGTV, or anything that requires a vertical access, like the one I'm streaming right now, you can loose it up a bit and attach it as such. For this particular way of doing it, you're probably going to have to move this guy around and get him to attach to something a little bit more secure than just himself, just because it's a lot of weight hanging on the side of the tripod, which means it'll go as opposed to what it would do if it was up here, which would be balanced on the top of the tripod. But then again, you can use it for that. So I just wanted to give you guys a quick demonstration of the new stuff that I bought. It was a beautiful box. Well, not beautiful, it was covered in packaging tape. But when it came in, the beautiful guys down here at Creative Geelong were nice enough to bring it in for me while I was out. And then they brought it in, and they were nice enough to just let me know. So yes, all good. And I've also been testing these out by carrying them around in my bag. So then, yes, I could show people. Oh, and they've also got little grippy feet as well. Little grippy feet, so they don't slide around your table. So what I've been doing is I've been carrying these around in my bag just to see the wear and tear of them, because a lot of these people that come to my workshops, but also you as well probably, when you come to a workshop and you get a gift, you expect to utilize it on a day-to-day basis. And what I want to do here is I want you guys to be able to use it on a regular basis. So being able to carry around in your bag, put it together, and then start using it would be a lot more beneficial than something you'd have to, keep locked away and keep precious, to make sure it didn't break. So most of the time it works. You do have to take the top part off though for storage, just because that's probably the weakest part that can break, and because it's a larger surface area, it would break a lot faster with that still attached. But it's working quite well. Everything has worked quite well, and it's been a couple of months of constant use and sitting in my bag, and it still works fine. Obviously these items won't live forever, but they work quite well for now. So that's what I'll be providing, this bag specifically. This is what I'll be providing to my guys at the Video Made Easy workshop on the 22nd of August 2019, but I'll also be providing them in my future workshops as well. Hopefully I'll be doing these maybe, what are we talking? Probably I'm planning on doing one workshop a month, but I'm still in a recovery phase at the moment through my health journey, and probably don't want to push it as much as I probably will, because I'm going to do my best to not push as hard as Luke, who's in the room and who's not trying his best not to say anything, as well as many people in my life had said, Zoe, don't hurt yourself again, you crazy woman. So I'm going to do my best not to do that. I'm going to do my best not to get sick, knock on wood. But I'm going to do my best not to run myself out of energy just because I think I should. But we are going to get back into, do you understand me? So for those who have just joined us, we just took a little break, had a little talk about all the cool stuff that I've got recently. And for all the guys who are attending our workshops. Oh yeah, and if you want to purchase one, message me and I'll let you know. I'm not sure about a price yet, but we'll figure it out when we get to it. And let's get into, do you understand me? So, for anyone wants to know who for anyone who wants to know what I'm referring to a quick script. This is one of our IP blah 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 things that I've put together. That it's just a template that you can use to put a script together that helps you figure out where you are along your journey and what to utilize when trying to achieve your goal of being clear with your message. So say, for example, right now I've just done the message and then I had a little bit of a detour just to tell you about a few things. And now we're back onto section 1 of the first stage of stuff I want to talk to you about. So I just wanted to let you guys know, and a couple of statistics off the top of my head. I'm not entirely sure where some of these statistics come from, but it's statistically proven that customers don't buy much, or they don't buy at their best when they're confused or scared or just misinformed. Because when you want customers, when you want people to buy from you, you want to make the process easy, which speaks for itself, but you also, g'day Catherine, but you also want it to be understandable. So you can do this by breaking down the steps, make it nice and easy. But also when creating video content around your product or service, you want to make it nice and easy and digestible for people. For people to understand, because when people are consuming this content, if they're not confused, if they feel like they're being informed, yay, love hearts. If they feel like they're being spoken to like an adult, and they feel like they're being respected for their time, their money, and their effort, that they're hopefully going to, give you a bit of that money in that way. But if they feel like they're being respected, they're more likely going to buy more, and they're more likely going to buy often from you, because they see that you are treating them like an adult. And because you're giving and you're answering people's questions, like I am doing today, like I'm answering people's questions on the live stream, but also for people who are watching this, who are maybe not watching this live, I'm trying to give you guys helpful things that will help you along the way to achieve your certain goal. Obviously, the reason why we're professionals doing our jobs and running our businesses is because we are experts in our field, and people don't automatically know everything about our fields, and if they did, they'd probably run their own business or get their own job. But when you want to make it easy for people to understand, because people inherently don't want to make mistakes. As humans, back in bygone eras, when we made mistakes, we die. When we made a mistake, we got sick and we died. When we made a mistake, we got injured and then we died. So you can see where that logic is kind of filtering into the we die. So as humans, we don't want to make mistakes because we die. I think I might be driving that home a bit too much. But the reason that your customers want to be seen to be knowledgeable about a subject, or they want to be informed about a subject, is so that when they make their purchasing decision, be it you, be it your competitor, be it your friend, they want to make sure that they're making the right decision and they're not going to make a mistake. Because if they make a mistake, again, death, bad. But for most people, they don't. Making a mistake isn't the end of the world, but it's still something that people inherently want to avoid. So when creating your video content, you want to make sure your content is easily digestible, that it's easy to ascertain, and you feel like that they can get along or make an understanding of it. And if something, or if a topic within your industry or a topic that you're going to talk about is way too complex for them to understand, then go along the basics, along the tops of the trees, if I might say. Because, we make livings of teaching or practicing or providing products to fix a certain need or a problem. And telling people how to solve that problem doesn't automatically mean they're going to utilize that and do it themselves. Some people don't have the time. People don't have the energy, or sometimes the money, but people usually don't have what they need to accomplish it most of the time. So they're probably going to hire you because, well, you've already explained to them, well, you can achieve this by doing A, B, C, and D. And doing so will make it nice and easy for them to understand what's being said and what's being done to their house, what's being done to their family member, what's being done to their pet, and what problem is being fixed for them. Ooh, I need some water because I'm talking a bit too much. Oh. But that's a little rundown as to why you maybe should concentrate on creating straightforward content and straightforward mediums. Doesn't mean you can't do an hour-long video, a live stream perhaps, of a topic that may be a little bit more in depth, but it also gives you a chance. But it just gives you a chance to be a little bit more direct in most of your videos. I've had a lot of people ask, what's the right time length for a video? It entirely depends on the message. What are you trying to say in that video? If you're spending an entire video, say for example, an hour-long video, and by the end of that video, all your viewer gets is that, okay, maybe I should think about my insurance. That's probably not a good thing, and you've spent an hour of something that can be said within a couple of seconds. But if within that hour you've taught them, okay, this is how you evaluate your insurance, this is who you talk to about your insurance, you've given them action plans on actually how to achieve getting better insurance. You've talked about multiple different facets on how to actually achieve and solve that problem. They're more likely to A, act with what you've said, B, they're more likely to choose you over a competitor because you've given them information, be it or not intentional, depending on what you've done to get in front of them, and C, you've actually give them that belief that they're not going to make a mistake. Of course, mistakes can be made. Humans are all infallible. But because they're more likely to trust you from there, there's a good chance that they're going to do the right thing because they're going to hire you and you're going to do a good job. Yeah. Oh. Okay, we are about half an hour in, and we've got half an hour to go. So I'll go through a couple more tips and a couple more ideas that I can help you get being clear with your audience and being clear with your message. Help you get them to understand me. Remember, if you have any questions or if you have anything that we should know or we should know about, feel free to comment below, and I will do my best to answer them. I've realized I haven't been recording this entire time. Whoops, that'll be fun to look at later. When I say recording, so the live stream setup I'm using is called OBS, Open Broadcast Software. It's free to use, and it's really useful. I've used it for a lot of my screen recording things that I've used in the past, and now I'm using it to achieve this live stream that I'm talking to you. And one of the functions is you can stream, which I'm doing now, and you can also record. And I realize I haven't been recording this entire time. So I'm going to have fun getting that off the internet later for use in repurposing my content, which I will be talking to you guys. I'm sure I've talked it somewhere on my YouTube channel and on my social media somewhere, but I'll probably do a specific topic live stream, if you like, on repurposing your content. And if you want to know more about that, then comment below #repurpose or #I want to know. So then let me know, and then I can do that in the future for you. Because remember, if you guys want to know something, you dictate what we do. Now I'm going to fix this little dude because there's not a whole lot of hair for it to grab onto. But it's on. So despite it being winter, it's very warm because I've got all these beautiful lights on me and a beautiful backdrop. So What I want to talk about next is a couple of tests that you can do to see if your script, if your notes that you've written down, or if your video that you've just recorded is too intense, or there's too much jargon, or you've gone off the road a bit too many times, or if you feel like, okay, what, this video isn't going to be useful for anyone. Here's how you test it. There's two tests. So there's the keep it simple, stupid. I think I could say that one. So the KISS principle. I'm sure we all learnt it in primary school, high school, wherever you're watching this, itty bitty children school, where you learnt it to keep it simple. So when talking about, say, writing an essay, you want to get straight to the point, make your point, and then be done. And that's almost the same thing with video. You have a limited time, you have a limited energy of your viewer to get the message across. And yes, you can hook them, maybe one hook. So you can hook them in that first, 10 seconds of a video, which is usually what I recommend. And many strategists, I think the word, and many other strategists like me, when you hook those people in that first 10 seconds, they're more likely to watch till the end of your video, unless they already know you or have a relationship with you beforehand. But when doing that, when I say keep it simple, I don't mean keep your notes simple, and I don't mean keep your points simple, as in when you're talking about something, rush past it or anything. I'm making the point of, just imagine that you have limited time, limited energy, and this video has popped up on your Facebook feed, or popped up on your YouTube or Instagram, or wherever your preferred social media of choice, or however they're watching the video. And you want to say, okay, the type of person that's watching this. So say, for example, I'll think about you, for example. The type of person that I'm talking to right now has, so it's a she. If you're not a she, then don't panic. Doesn't mean I'm not talking to you. It's okay. But the people that I'm usually aiming for are usually women in their 45 plus, for like 45 to about 55, who run a small to medium business, who want to do more with video and want to be the face of their brand and business, or already are, but they're afraid to take the next step into video. Say, for example, that's who I'm talking to. And in saying that, she's just finished a long day of, going to the gym, doing work, having meetings, making calls, and now she's just, finished making tea, kiss the partner, having fun on the phone, and she'll be watching this, probably not watching this live stream, but hopefully watching this live stream, we'll see. But the videos that she'd usually watch from me are videos where I'm talking to camera, but I have captions on screen. So that's one thing that I definitely want to do. But because of her limited time, limited energy, I want to make sure that I'm making my points fairly succinct, that my videos are about 3 minutes or less long. When we're talking about sharp, pointed, like, hey, sorry, I am a little bit sore. When talking about, hey, look at something, blah, and then call to action, see what to do next. Because what she would prefer to do is to, get the information or get the vibe relatively straight away, and then understand, okay, what is this video wanting me to do? Okay, it's wanting me to sign up to the workshop. I know where that is. Click, sign up, there you go. And that's the same thing that I want you guys to think about. Put yourselves in the customer's shoes and think about the limited time and limited energy that you might have, but also the limited time and energy they might have for watching and consuming your content. Yes, we've all got 24 hours in the day, and we all spend it differently, but you need to be able to give them something with the time that you're sharing with them, and not just whittle their time away or waste it, God forbid. But keeping it simple, stupid, allows you to have that mentality of, okay, going through my points, we're not going to go too far off topic, and we're not going to go too far out of the way of what the point I'm trying to make. Yes, you can make pauses. Yes, things can go wrong. Yes, there can be mistakes. But when you're doing a video that has a specific purpose, you want to make sure that you're providing value with the time that you share together, and not just wasting their time until it comes to the call to action point. So that was KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. And then the second test that I learnt from American man, silver hair, marketing, does stuff. I know that's probably not helpful to you, but I was just trying to think of where I learned it. I think I'm not entirely sure where I learnt this from, and I usually do have sources for most of my content, but for this one, this is just more of a thing that stuck to my brain, and as opposed to one that I actually have sources for. But so what I want to discuss with you guys is the grunt test. So the grunt test refers to two cave people sitting in a cave. They want to get their messages across, but because there's no language involved, they have 5 seconds to grunt what they're trying to ascertain, or what they're trying to make, the point they're trying to make. That can be, can you lift that rock, but I'm too tired to do so. That was just one grunt. Or that's obviously the facial expressions come involved, but you can see that grunt, you can see I'm angry, I'm annoyed, or I'm irked a bit, but you can see that I'm actually actively trying to tell you something about you or your behavior, for example. So the idea is that your video, the message that you're trying to make, or the point that you're trying to ascertain, should be able to do so in a grunt, or that type of mentality. Should be thinking about what you're trying to offer, about how it will make their life better, like what problem you're solving, and then why do they need to buy it? Of course, I don't expect you to do a 5-second video of you grunting, saying, I'm not expecting you to do that, and God forbid don't. But what I'm saying is, with the grunt test, is your point clear enough that you can, within a couple of grunts, make it quite clear that within a couple of grunts, probably that was a little bit convoluted on my end, but making it quite clear that it was too complicated and now it's straightforward. Yes, I'm using body language, I'm using my hands, and I'm using my facial expression, which I've always done. But being able to think about your content in this way will make it a lot clearer for you and make it a lot easier for your audience to understand, because you'll be a lot more streamlined. And again, I don't want you to get rid of any particular details. I don't want you to feel like, okay, because Zoe said, the grunt test or the KISS principle, I have to get rid of all this information. Not necessarily the case. As long as you're trying to provide value for your client, that's me in my jargon speech, or you're trying to provide actual value to your viewer, then whatever you say, however you say it, shouldn't be an issue. The only issue is that if you're wasting their time, if you're not providing value, you're going off on tangents and you're not coming back around with anything that's actually meaningful or helpful, then you'll have a problem. But just think about those keep it simple and the grunt test, and making sure, okay, before I do a video, looking at my little script and looking at my notes, is this straightforward enough? I think it is. And if it's not, then that's okay. We make mistakes. You chill, and then you film it again. Or on your live stream, you check that you haven't bored everyone to death. Sorry for that. I may have kicked the microphone. And the third point I want to make for you guys is to always test. Test. So test on your videos that you film, in your office, that you film out and about, that you go, on Instagram Live, that you, do 15-second bursts on your Instagram stories, or videos that you just do for yourself. I want you to test these principles, and I want you to test and utilize the information that you've learnt. Because if we just write down information and we don't actually act upon that information, or we don't act upon that stuff that we've put in our brains, it's not going to get used, it's going to get left behind, and then bleh, it's not going to become much use to you. And that's usually what I do with my own channel, is whenever I've learned something, I do my best to put it in some form of content to be able to give to you, to add value for you guys, of course, but to also help me remember what I want to learn, or help me be better at my craft and be a better expert than I am. And that's the same thing that I want you guys to be able to do in your businesses and your industries, because necessarily there may be someone in your industry who is on video, who's on YouTube, who or Twitch or what have you, who is going out there, talking to industry experts, doing a lot, and you feel like, oh, I can't compete with them. Well, don't compete with them. Compete with yourself. And compete within your industry, within your local industry, within your country, or within your region, or even within your town. Because doing video content, yes, can seem a bit daunting and scary at first, but once you have it set up, using something as simple as your mobile phone and a quiet corner of the room, you can make an empire like many people and many large businesses at the moment have. And creating video content, yes, can be hard and it can be demanding, and it can be something that, I have to do a video, I have to think about this. But being able to test what you've learnt, test the information that you've been able to gather, and be able to actually help your viewer or help your customer achieve something, or achieve a solution to a problem that they've been having for a very long time, is also a good feeling, but also builds rapport between you and your customer. Or, say for example, if you've managed to watch us for the entire time of this live stream, hopefully I've built some rapport with you to have an idea of what you'd actually want to achieve with your video production. And it might be a little bit preachy, but I want you to know that you can actually utilize the information that you learn that while watching a tutorial online, or when watching, reading a blog post. Utilizing that content in another form helps your brain learn how to do it better, and also it will keep your knowledge of your industry intact and up to date. Because there's a lot of people, and I'm sure that you've met them at some point in your life, when you've met someone who's in either the same industry as you or maybe someone different, and you find that they're stuck, that they learnt something, or they grew up they grew up in the industry in the 80s. I'm sorry if you were born then, had your childhood then, or you were a teenager then. It's not the 80s now. It's been a very long time since the 80s. I'm sorry. I know it's a bit harsh coming from someone who was born in the 90s. But the reason I'm bringing that up is because some people can be mentally stuck in the 80s, or stuck in the 90s, or the noughties, and they just don't update their industry knowledge, or they don't up any of the industry contracts, or they don't even try to learn more about the industry because they believe, narcissistically usually, that they know it all, that they've no need to learn more, and they don't have an effective strategy on how they would go about learning something more. So say, for example, people who are not interested in, picking up a smartphone, other than reasons of, privacy and such, but people who don't want to pick up a smartphone because, I don't want to learn how to use it, it's too complicated, or I'm just not in the mood to learn. Well then, if you're not learning and you're not actively doing stuff with your time and you're not trying to better yourself, then what are you doing? Can I ask? Because not everything is going to stay the same, and especially, say for example, for the next 30 years, things are going to change dramatically. We are going to get, driverless cars. I had a chat with someone recently about the amount of car parks, especially in Australia and the inner cities, where there's a use of these public lands for a convention centre, and in Geelong, where I think we're the biggest regional city outside of Melbourne, which is down the south of Australia, and we've been talking about getting a convention centre for yonks. And a convention centre is essentially a very large building, or a collections of building that you can hold a convention in, hold meetings, talks, what have you. And Geelong in general has enough space. I don't think the inner part of the cities inherently have enough space, but as a whole, Geelong does have space. We just need to work on our public transport, of which we don't have a lot. But once we figure that out, it just kind of surprises me that people aren't willing to invest their land, or their land they want to turn into a car park. That's their dream goal, is to turn that land that could be used into a convention centre that will make them money for however long, or utilize that land for something helpful for the community. For example, they want to just turn it into a car park. When within the next 10 years, I'm not saying all of us, but a majority of people will have driverless cars, where when we want to get somewhere, we get on our phone, the car comes along, we hop in, drive to our destination, hop out, and then the car just keeps going on to its next destination. We'll be renting cars essentially for individual trips. And maybe this might not happen in the next 10 years, predictions and scientists have been wrong in the past. But say, for example, there could be, another 10 years on that, and that's what we will be doing. So car parks would be essentially obsolete because we won't need that many, or we won't need cars for that long. And we're currently not investing in stuff that could be useful for anyone and the community. And the point I'm making with that story is that if you don't move with the times, if you don't utilize the industry knowledge that you've learned in some way, and I'm not saying video per se, but if you don't use it in, say, a podcast, write a blog, teach your children, teach your grandparents, teach your friends, whatever you've learned, if you don't actively teach people in some way, you're going to lose that knowledge unless you have some way to use it. So when using that to communicate to customers, being able to use the KISS principle, the grunt test, and being able to clearly understand that, okay, what frame of mind would the person watching this video be in? You need to test on that and work on that till you get it to a refined point where you're happy with it, and then chuck it out the window and start again. Because the stuff that you will learn one day will not always apply to the next. Same thing with any industry, no matter what. So I want you guys to be able to utilize that through your videos, as well as, podcasts, which we do, by the way. Do Video Podcast. Check it out. Zoe, the Video Confidence Coach, Do Video Podcast. DoVideoPodcast.com. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, plug. But if you want to utilize that knowledge that you've gained, you want to be able to do that regularly and through a medium that you're happy to do so. Even if it's just writing in a journal, you've actively gone out. G'day, Dale. Hello. You've actively gone out and said, okay, I'm going to teach someone how to do this. Or even if it's just writing in your journal, which is your own private space, to be able to talk and just say, okay, this is what I've learned today. I've actively learnt. This is how I would apply it in real life, and this is how I'm going to action it. How I'm actually going to use this information in some way in my real life within the next couple of days. So if you utilize that information somehow, it's going to be a lot more useful to you than just, I went to your... This is what it sounds like to some people who've been to a couple of my workshops. I went to your workshop a couple of years ago, and I said, cool, I haven't caught up with you in a while, but how's the video going? Oh yeah, I didn't really do any of it. I'm like, okay, so when would you be? And they're like, never. Now, I'm not saying this is going to be you. And for some people, I understand life gets in the way. Hell, for the past 2 years, my life has gotten in the way. My insides have gotten in the way. And I understand that people have a lot of different priorities, which we all should. But if you want to be able to do something that you can actively do regularly for your customers, for the value of your customers, that does not cost a whole lot of money. Probably, maybe a smartphone, but you probably already have that. You might be already watching me on one of those. You probably need power and the internet. That's the only thing stopping you. And I'm very grateful that in Australia, where I live, I have the ability to do that. And I have the ability to outreach to people like you and have conversations like this to better help you and your business. Compared to people that are unfortunately unable to do so where they're currently living. But we are going to be slowly making the world a better place. Hopefully. We'll see how we go with that. We've got 10 more minutes, guys. So how are you chugging along? Like I said, if you have any more questions in the next 10 minutes, I will do my best to answer them. Anything about video production, anything that you've noticed today, or feel free to comment below anything that has really struck you about today's live stream that you didn't really know beforehand, that you're just like, keeping, the KISS principle works for more than just, writing essays when I was 6 or... Hold on, not 6. I could barely write when I was 6. Let's make that about, 12. Yeah. The KISS principle works more than just for what it would be in primary school. And my call to action for you guys. So a call to action is a one step that you would like someone, the viewer, the reader, the listener, the one person who is consuming your content to take to, make themselves better. is essentially what a call to action is. And my call to action to you guys today watching is to join the Video Confidence Crew, which is a group on Facebook that we started that gives you full access to all of our content and to all of our all of our thoughts and ideas, a lot of behind the scenes stuff. It's a great community in there where you get to meet other people and other business owners like you who are going through the journey of video production like you, and who have the ability to ask questions and get the community help to answer those questions. But it also allows you to, get in touch with me as well, which, especially with the past couple of months, has been quite hard because I've been dead. No, I want to stress, I haven't been dead. I've just been quite sick and quite ill, and then keeping that health up to, keep running the business hasn't been entirely that easy. But hopefully that will change and you guys will, do stuff and you'll say hi and cool stuff. But that being my only call to action today, guys, I want to ask you about commenting below if there's anything that you'd want to know. I'll still be able to answer any questions that you may have, and anything that you may come up in the meantime. Just remember that we do have the Video Made Easy. Oh God, thank you. A Guide to Services just said you are rocking it, and that made me feel really warm inside. Thank you. What I want to do just before I sign off is remember that we do have the Video Made Easy workshop on the 22nd of August 2019. So if you want to learn how to do video yourself and are in the Geelong region, check that out on Eventbrite or the GSBF Facebook website. All those places are on those pages. Thank you. I got all the love hearts. And if that doesn't interest you, maybe podcasting will. Podcasting 101, a profitable marketing strategy. Me and Jürgen Strauss, like Dr. Jürgen Strauss of InnovaBiz, like that dude, is going to be working with me on a workshop to give you guys the knowledge and the action plan to get started on doing your own podcast, which is surprisingly easy. Like, really, really easy. Like, I'm surprised how easy it is. I should stop whispering. and those will be happening before the end of the month. I will be running regular workshops after that, but I don't have anything in the pipeline as of yet because, as I mentioned before, health reasons and remembering that I am human, whether I like to admit it or not, Zoe. Working on that. But in the meantime, I'm going to finish up, catch my bus home, have some dinner, possibly feed some of it to my dog because they love me, and they love me even more if I feed them food. And that'll be all. So I'm going to finish up here. I'm going to let you guys go. If you have any questions in the meantime, please let me know. And I'm going to do my best to finish up. And if anything cuts off in the meantime, hopefully it doesn't. But if you have any questions, make sure you message me, make sure you DM me, and I'll be doing this every week, hopefully looking a little bit more flashier. Once I learn how to do things, once I learn how to put in messages, once I learn to achieve more things, and hopefully we've been talking for the past 50 minutes and it has worked. We will see. But I want to thank everyone on Instagram Live, on Twitch, on YouTube, on Facebook, and on LinkedIn and Twitch. Yeah, and Twitch. For joining us on this live. And like I said, if you have any questions or comments, let me know. Thank you, Catherine. And I will say goodnight to everyone and